Testimony continued today in the most notorious criminal trial in Richland County. Dr. John Boyle is accused of killing his wife Maureen and burying her body.
The 12-year-old son finally took the stand.
Boyle confidently told the jury it was his decision to testify against his father.
I heard a scream. I heard a thud. It was about this loud.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty.
I decided at an early age that our trauma should not be what defines us. It's what we choose to do with it that does. I'm here to share my unique perspective on true crime, mental health, society, and popular culture, and always with a slight sense of humor. I'm Collier Landry, and welcome to my show. Mover Nation, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Happy Saturday, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I know it is college football season. There's a lot of stuff going on. We're going to do another poll of hat or no hat today, I suppose. There we go. Hat, no hat. Marisol is here. She's right here next to me. She got into some mischief this morning, which is why I was running just a few minutes late, because she got into some mischief, didn't you? You want to say hi to everybody? Come here. Come here. Oh, good girl. For those of you that are new to the channel, this is Marisol. She is my Chihuahua. She is going to be 2 years old this year. You smell so much better. We decided that we wanted to get into some shenanigans this morning. So she rolled in some things that dogs should not be rolling in. So I had to give her a quick bath, and now she's all better. Now she's good. Now she wants treats. All right. What a day. So I was on Soft White Underbelly, for those of you that may or may not know. And that episode premiered today, which is my mother's birthday, September 28th. And I am February 28th. So we were both 28th babies. She was a Libra. And it was a great way to honor her memory. If you guys have not seen the episode, I'm going to pull it up and share it with y'all. But big shout out to Zet and Sonny, who introduced me to Mark Laida from Soft White Underbelly, who ironically is my neighbor here in Santa Monica. So it was great to have them here. Welcome everybody. Look at all these people in the chat. Hi, Rhiannon Rose. By the way, so Hurricane Helene, whatever we're calling it, the hurricane, for those of you that are experiencing any issues, is everybody okay? Is really what my thing is. Somebody messaged me this morning and said Asheville, North Carolina has been like partially wiped out. I have a friend that lives in Asheville area, so I messaged him. I haven't heard back. I was under the impression that Asheville is a mountainous town, if I'm not mistaken, but apparently got hit very hard because of the hurricane. You would never think that it would do such damage, but I hope everyone is okay and doing well. Sarah Holman is down there. Rhiannon Rose, I believe you're down there. Obviously, Cat Loves Catskills is down there. I heard the storm surge is really what the worst thing of it is that it brings all this water. We don't know these things when we don't live in a hurricane area. I grew up with tornadoes, so it's a little bit of a different story. Let me put my Marisol camera on. See if she's up for... All right. Come here, sweetheart. You have to come over here. Everybody wants to see you. There we go. Everybody wants to see you. All right. You know what I have right here, don't you? Bully sticks, which are now on my Amazon wish list, which I'll put in the chat. Marisol always needs little things to keep her occupied while we're doing the lives, or while I'm up here working. There you go, sweetie. Good girl. Good girl. And there she goes. And off she goes to her little bed. And that's where she'll be. Maybe. She's a funny dog. Anyways. All right, guys. So this is an AMA. AMA. Ask me anything if you don't know what that means. Ask me anything. I thought we'd do it as a follow-up to Soft White Underbelly. I'm going to I'll pull up that episode so you guys can check it out. Again, big thank you to Zet and Sonny, who hooked me up with Mark Laida, and to Mark Laida and Soft White Underbelly and the community over there for embracing me. If you are interested, so I did. So a couple of people had asked in the comment section of that video where my father's trial was. So I started putting that. The first video is up on my YouTube members channel or YouTube members section. If you're a channel member, speaking of, if you are a channel member or a Patreon supporter, tomorrow, Sunday, September 29th at 3 p.m. Eastern time, we have our live members only meet and greets where we get to interact with one another. It's live on Google Meet. So I actually get to see you guys and talk to you guys. It's a really cool thing. So check it out. If you would, if you're a channel member, please try to be there if you can. It's a great way to engage with everybody that you've engaged in the chats, but you get to see them in real life. I'm going to fix this stand. My boom broke for the microphone, so I'm using kind of it's not janky, but it's definitely not very easy to ratchet down. Anyways, let me pull up the episode of Soft White Underbelly for y'all to check out. Okay, I guess we'll just do this. And that's not the right keyboard. Oh boy, soft. Yeah, okay, great. So, look at that. 34,000 views. I'll share that with you guys. And we can check it out. We're not going to watch the whole episode. We're going to watch really any of it. I just want you to see it. There it is. There we go. So this is my episode with Soft White Underbelly. Of course, I'm pulling a daft face. But it was great to go down to Mark's studio and
a lot of that was just my reality. I remember as a kid, I used to watch airplanes. I talked about like my father was my hero as
he uses
young,
black magic
saving me in those moments when my head is bleeding and stitching me back up.
First working
or being there when I had asthma attacks to give me medicine to make me feel better.
My episode of Soft White
I grew to really
just. You guys can check it out on his channel, Soft White Underbelly. I'm going to try to see a different. Let me see. I got to get a good frame grab here. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Anyways, it was a great experience. I'm very grateful, as I said, to Sonny and Zet, and I'm very grateful to Mark Laida over there. Zet, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships, gifting memberships. That means you guys go and you can just link up and do the and get the membership. I think you click the I believe you click the there's a tab up the top where you can accept gifted memberships. So anyways, do you guys, so this is a live AMA because I normally don't do these. Thank you. Welcome, new member, Catherine, K9 Catherine. Thank you. Hello, Sharita Hall. So what do you guys want to hear about? What do we want to talk about today? It's an AMA, ask me anything type of situation here. And I'm definitely down to take some questions from you guys. For those of you who've watched the episode, I also feel like I should play music. I need to get some music on these lives a little bit. Besides songs that I sing. Anyways, call your question. Do I still listen to my gut intuition? Yes, I do. It's sometimes I try to ignore it, but it's very, very difficult to ignore, especially when you've come through a circumstance like I came through. And this is something that I talk with coaching clients, is not second guessing yourself, trusting your intuition, because it's always right. It's always served me in good stead every time I've listened to myself. What I thought was right, what I thought was true, what I thought was going on, it has never failed me. I can't think of one instance where I've been like, oh yeah, I was wrong about that. Intuition is a powerful thing. And as I get older, the more I think about it, like how we're all connected cosmically, spiritually, it's intuition is a very powerful thing for sure. Cherie says, my maternal aunt, am I in touch with her at all? No, I am not. I have not been in touch with my family on that side for quite a while. They have I have not seen my aunt since, I want to say 1998, and I haven't spoken to her since then either. So that's what, 26 years ago. Yeah, I haven't. I had a few conversations with my cousin, my male cousin, who I knew growing up was her son. And, I asked to be connected with her. I don't even know if she's still around. So it's really unfortunate. So that is kind of the sort of, if you will, the consequence of all this and the real impact of trauma, intergenerational trauma, the way families don't talk about things and they just ignore. And the same thing goes for my uncle, my godfather as well. Cat Loves Catskills isn't freedom of choice a bitch. Collier, did you ever write your mom a letter after she passed? I don't think I ever did. Maybe today is a good day to do that. I don't think I ever did that letter. I talked to her a lot, but I did not ever sit down and write a letter. And I know a lot of people say write the letter, then you burn it or whatever. I know when you get out of relationships, you do that, but I have not done that. Cat Loves Catskills wants to know, am I going to let my hair grow out? Yes, I am letting my hair grow out. I am going to let it grow out. It will be quite a process. Hit that like button. Hit that like button, by the way, guys. As you come in, 62 here. I don't know what we are on the, it's so weird. I don't hear myself at all. Okay, there we go. I hope you guys can. I mean, I'm assuming you guys can hear me, but sometimes when I don't hear the feedback, I'm like, am I actually talking? Am I actually hearing things? When it's important, I write it down. That's a great thing. I'd like to know, what was your father's childhood like? So that was one of the things that we covered, or we tried to cover, in A Murder in Mansfield. And in A Murder in Mansfield, they interviewed my father. I don't have access to those interviews. I'm trying to get access to them because I love to see what he said. But as he said in the film, he grew up a normal child. I mean, hey, we can just kind of play that, I suppose. Let's see. Maybe I can bring that up here. By the way, I'm going to start doing screenings of A Murder in Mansfield. We might do one this week. We will sell tickets. We will offer it to, actually, what you guys can do is you can join the YouTube channel membership or the Patreon membership, and you get immediate access to that. We're going to do it sometime this within the next week, because I've done these a couple of times. It's been great. We had a great turnout. We watched the film. I offer you some commentary on the film, and then we do a Q&A afterwards. It's a long process, but the film is 82 minutes, I believe, and the whole process, it's like 2.5 hours. It's good. I did that a lot when I was touring with the film at different film festivals. We did like live Q&As and things like that. Mama Beans, you can purchase the film here on this channel. If you go, there's a link. There should be a link underneath here that has shopping links, and you can purchase the film, and it'll send it directly to you. It is also on Investigation Discovery, and you can probably purchase it through Amazon Prime as well. But yeah, we'll do a live screening of the film, and I'll offer you commentary, and it's kind of cool. I really enjoy it myself. I mean, it's tough to watch sometimes, but it is a great thing. So Sunshine had a question. Where was Sunshine's question at? I'm trying to see. Do you feel talking about traumatic experiences keeps you from moving on? Are you speaking about in my particular case, or are you speaking about as someone in general? I think there's two schools of thought to this whole thing. I think the first is, a lot of people, we as a society have this whole get over it, move past it. And that's obviously a very important factor. I don't think when you approach it from a standpoint of you're moving through it, you're working through it, you're moving on. I did a post on Facebook and on Instagram, and I did a post here on the YouTube community section. Why looks to the past, but what now looks to the future. I also did a post recently that I talked about. I kind of dove into this a little bit more, with the why looks into the past and what now looks into the future, meaning that if we're constantly looking back, replaying moments, like why do we replay these moments that shaped us, right? There's always a lesson to learn, and you want to move through that and learn that lesson, right? I think a lot of people get stuck in the moment of something happened to me. And I think I talked about it in the interview with Mark on Soft White Underbelly. I talk about it a lot on this channel. When you get stuck into a pattern of victimization, it's very easy to do, but where everything is victimizing you, you tend to, at least in my opinion, not move on. So if you're constantly talking about what happened to you and you're not moving through it, if you're offering it as a lesson, like I come on this show, I talk about this, I share my story as a lesson, as an opportunity, as a way to open up myself to you guys. I talk about this with coaching clients. I share my story. It's not because, oh, let's talk about me. It's like, learn from me. Learn from what I did. That can help you in XYZ situation, right? And it's very important to look at it through that lens versus the victimization lens, because if you're consistently replaying it over in your head, you're re-victimizing yourself and you're just living in that victim mentality, which doesn't make you engage with other people. It doesn't make you a productive member of society. It doesn't make you, it makes you kind of avoidant. You shut in. And look, I always say this, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a psychologist. I don't work in law enforcement. I'm just a guy who's been through a lot of shit. You see the intro. I'm not offering I've been through enough therapy to know what goes on in the world. I've been through enough life experiences, more importantly, that let me know, that sort of shapes who I am. But this is not, speak to a mental health professional. I'm not a mental health professional, nor do I ever pretend to be. But when you're constantly re-victimizing yourself and living in this victim mentality, which is very common nowadays, we see this a lot in society. Everybody, it feels like there's a big race, especially when I talk about a lot about true crime. And there seems to be a race for people who want to be victims. And there also seems to be people who are victims, who live in this victimization, this consistent victimization. But there's also people who want to be victims, strangely enough, who want to be affected by cases and want to be affected by things that happen that have nothing to do with them. It's sort of somebody put it, it's like a trauma, not a trauma bond, but it's like people who are addicted to trauma and want to be just involved in everything. It's these people, we've all seen it. I would like, if it is possible, to get or buy access to watch Other Murder Mansfield. Yes, you can join you can join my Patreon. It's on my Patreon, but you could also purchase the film right in the links below. There's a link to purchase the film, and I will send it to you. Lauren Helm says, my 8-year-old twins have experienced trauma, medical brain surgeries, chronic pain. Oh, I'm so sorry. Is there anything from your perspective that you'd share with a parent trying to help their kid? Well, first of all, Lauren Helms, I'll put the question up here, actually. First of all, I'm really sorry that you're going through that. That's terrible that they're going through that. That's just terrible. From my perspective, is give them grace. Give them grace, but also give yourself grace. Medical stuff, that's not your fault, and a lot of people tend to blame themselves when something goes wrong. I had a friend who lost a cat recently, and it has deeply affected her. She had this cat for 15 years, and she blamed herself. The cat, not even sure what was going on. We started having seizures, and they think there was brain tumors. Like, that's something you cannot control. And but she kept blaming herself for it. Like, could I have seen it coming down? Could have this and that? No, just like, you couldn't. Accidents happen. Things happen. Things are out of our control in life. And the more that we accept that, the more we can forgive ourselves, because you don't want to get into a cycle of shame, guilt, shame. For me, I could have said, I could have saved my mother. I could have. The reality is I couldn't have done that. My father was 6'3", 230. I was an asthmatic little kid. Come on. Even if it could have, it was too late anyways. And so I had to learn really quickly to not blame myself, and to understand that I'm doing the best that I can, and I'm doing the best in the situation. So just take care of them, love them, appreciate them, adore them. And but don't blame yourself for their conditions. It's and this is, and all this goes easier said than done, by the way. Not that I haven't struggled with any of this in my own life, because I have. Well, Manny with the same question. How did I become so well spoken and articulate? That's probably the best question. How did I do this? I got no idea. Both my mother and my father were very into education. I grew up as a kid, learning, loving books, loving reading, loving classical music, opera, things like that. My mother and father both both held education in high regard, and my mother especially. So that was how I was raised, and that sort of carried on into my teenage years after she left my life, and into adulthood. So, I try to read a lot. I'm always learning. I'm always growing and learning, which is an arduous process sometimes, but I'm always growing, learning. I want to better myself. And I think if you keep that mentality going, it will serve you in good stead. You will always, if you always are in a hunger and a quest for knowledge, you will be able to articulate and be well-spoken. I'm looking at little Marisol. Did you eat all of your thing? I think she ate all of her treat. Oh, that's a problem. How did she do that? That thing was huge. How did she do that? Have I been looking at changing format and shifting into a different genre? What do you mean by that? Are you meaning that I am looking at talking less about doing true crime content and more about mental health and self-improvement? Write that and we'll get back to that, Sharita Hall. You can answer me on that in a second, then I'll get back to that. I would like to know more of that question. And then I'll get to Shiraz's question and all of yours. Let me see here. So where was I? So if you put a part 2 to that, Sharita Hall, I will answer. Trust the process. Every situation is different, says Nancy Adler. Take your time. Take all the time we need. Yeah, that's great. Is there any way to watch the trial, Mama Beans? Yes, it is on the member section of this channel. No, you need to switch genres to something more positive. And I know you have been thinking about discussing it with your mom. I've definitely been thinking of switching genres to something more positive. Yes. And look, I am very interested in the process of how we all can move past these situations and be better human beings because of them, not be worse off, not succumb to, things that people succumb to, addiction, abuse, self-abuse, self-harm, things of that nature, because it can be such a slippery slope. And that was one of the sort of the double-edged sword with being on something like Soft White Underbelly, because there's so many people who have come on that program that are sharing their stories, which is great because it helps people who might be going through the same thing. But also there's a situation where they may themselves be struggling with that because they haven't dealt with these past traumas. So I am looking to shifting more into a positive genre. Absolutely. You go back and scroll through these comments. Drop a super sticker, drop a super chat, guys, if you wouldn't mind. It helps. Please hit the like button as well. that will help. That helps with the helps with the algorithm. Thank you so much, Cat Loves Catskills. It can be found on YouTube, yes, on the TEDx Talks page, and on my page too. Hi, Shelby Indiana Jones. Personally, so back to Lauren Helms. Personally, I don't think I'll ever move on from my trauma. I'm just training my emotional muscles every day to make sure that carrying it with me gets easier over time. That's a great strategy. Absolutely. That's a great strategy. Hey, you made at least part of the live. Welcome, Marie Hathaway. Just so you know, Collier, you are talking to your mom, but she is guiding you and has since the second she passed. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. No, oh, Marie Ann Hathaway, thank you so much for the super sticker. Appreciate that. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Every little bit helps. I admire you. Are you in touch? From Brooklyn Janet. I admire you. Are you in touch with your little sister? How is she? So as far as my sister that was adopted when that was adopted 6 months before my mother was killed, she is I haven't seen her since 1991. As far as my half sister, who was born 12 days before my father was arrested, the last time I saw her was 2016. We actually went to visit my father together. It was a very interesting experience. I'll talk about it in another video. But she is, I believe, happily married and living her best life. And that's all I can ask for. Collier, do you experience PTSD? And if so, do you recognize your triggers? Yes, I do. I certainly do. Something I work on constantly. Loud noises, banging, things of that nature. I have neighbors downstairs that slam the door all the time. It triggers me a lot. Especially at night. Reminds me of my father. Reminds me of those thuds I heard in the middle of the night sometimes. So, but I regulate myself. I don't let them control me. I just go, oh, that was jarring. And oh, I recognize what that's from. And oh, okay, we're good. So when you're getting triggered, at least again, not a psychologist, but as someone who has dealt with this, his whole life or the majority of his life, you learn to recognize it. And then you say, okay, now I recognize it. All right, let me not be so triggered, which is very important. Very, very important to recognize and understand why you're getting triggered too. And realize that you're in a safe space, that these things that are bringing it, like you're okay, you're here now, you're not in a scenario with your abuser or whoever, or in the dangerous scenario you were in, so you can push that away, right? And you can say, with love too, push it away and say, this is I'm not going to let this control me. And that's the most liberating thing of all of it. Hello, Collier. Thank you for sharing your story. I sincerely appreciate that. I left an obnoxiously long comment on one of your vids a few weeks ago. I just wanted to apologize. I don't know when it was, Pixel and Bits, but thank you for coming on here and clarifying. Shiraz says, when you ask your father what happened, does he have an answer that makes sense? So if you watch the film, and I am trying to get an understanding from my father of why he did what he did, again, spoiler alert, but he's unable to. And the deceit and the psychopathy runs very, 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 very deep into his soul. So it is definitely something that was very hard to witness and hard to listen to, because it just seems so simple just to come clean and free all of us of these chains of bondage of this horrific event, and at least start to kind of understand it and work through it. And he's just unable to do that. And that's how it is. So in his mind, it's an entirely different scenario. And that's, he's a psychopath. Lauren Helms, just to follow up. Thank you. My guilt is immense, despite me knowing I did and do everything that I could, but the reminder is very much appreciated. Well, thank you so much. And I'm lucky. I'm glad that you love your little ones, your little people, and they bring you such joy. And that's wonderful. I'm turning off this music. I can hear it. It's just so low. So let's see here. Has my father ever done any other media interviews? Has your father ever done any other media interviews? Yes, he does. I can play a little bit from, I'm getting ready to republish Lies Caught on Tape. This is a very interesting interview. I'm going to pull this up and we can listen to this because it's pretty crazy. Thank you so much for the super chat. Cat loves cat skills. It's so sweet of you. Thank you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. Cat loves cat skills. Thank you. Who I got to meet a few months ago. But yes, back to my father and his media interviews. So I can actually pull that up. We can listen to a little bit of that. Let's see here. If you want to see resilience, come visit Rhiannon Rose. Thank you so much. I honestly appreciate this community. I love the support and mental support and ideas on handling trauma as I'm a survivor. Absolutely, Rhiannon Rose. I'm glad you find comfort in my content, and I will continue to make more of it for sure. If you want to see resilience, come visit a PICU. Is that for like a prenatal ICU? I never experienced a place so full of extremes, and yet the kids, their families, and staff persevere with joy and laughter and color. I said prenatal, pediatric is what I meant to say. Prenatal. They weren't be born if they were prenatal. Would they be? I don't know a lot about babies or children. If you want to see resilient pediatric ICU, I'm sure. And I know that that Cat Loves Cat Skills does a lot of work in that field as well and shares some stories with me. They're absolutely just incredible. That are simply incredible. I'm so sorry to hear your pain. Gen X to the seventh power. My older son has had several surgeries when he was little. I know you speak of is true, but he has a great mother that loves him. Hello, Allison Lee. How are you? Okay, cool. You have birds outside your window. He's in med school right now. The path to beyond, that's wonderful. And yes, Lauren Helms, coping skills are so important. I kind of joke that I have two halves to my brain. The logical side tells me the emotional side. We know what's real and what's not real. Absolutely. Absolutely. And when you're in those states of triggering, like we were talking about, just reminding yourself that, hey, I'm in a safe place. I'm away from what is triggering me. It's just triggering me. And I need to recognize that. It's a really great thing to recognize that. And that's when you know you're healing too, when you're able to recognize that and to take a moment and step away from it and be like, okay, I recognize what's going on and I'm not going to let myself go down the rabbit hole or go down a dark path. That's super key. I too am triggered by doors slamming and keys being thrown down on the table. Yeah, the triggering of the door slamming is a lot. Yeah. Nancy Adler, I was born in a Salvation Army hospital and adopted shortly thereafter. Long story short, I have a big family, which is wonderful. Some are healthy for me and some are not, as most families are. There are all kinds of characters in those families, right? Question. Why do you think your mother stayed in a relationship with your father and with all the abuse, and then later her saying he might kill her? So 2 parts, Brooklyn Janet. So the first part would be, why do I think that she stayed in the relationship is because I think she stayed in it because of myself and my sister. I think that she stayed in it too because I think that, as with any relationship that involves an extreme level of coercive control and manipulation, I think that my mother was manipulated by my father, and my mother also loved my father and probably didn't feel comfortable leaving him because she did not want to, I know this might sound weird, but maybe even cause him injury. She's gotten a hold of something. Hang on. Come here, sweetheart. You can't have that. You cannot have that. This is not a toy. Do you want another bully stick? I think this is what's. I should have given her the bigger bully stick. It's the last one. These things smell gross, by the way. You want another bully stick? That'll keep her busy for hours and hours. I'll have to take it away later. So I believe that she's stuck in the relationship because deep down inside, she still loved my father and probably hoped that he could change. I think that a lot of people who are in relationships where abuse is something that actually is a thing, and the coercive control, you believe that you can change that person. You believe that they'll get better. You believe that they will change and be that person you dreamed they always could be, dreamt they always could be. But obviously that wasn't the case. And I think in the end, when she had said that she thought, because it was very close to before she was murdered, I think that she thought that, I think she just had an intuition. And yeah, I think she just had an intuition, and unfortunately it was correct. Mama Bean says, do you think he will eventually be released? Supposedly he's supposed to be up for parole here in a month or so. So I don't know what the story is with that. We will see. I'll keep you guys posted. Does your father believe he is a psychopath? Also, do you know how he became one? Well, no, he does not believe that. I asked him if he was a sociopath. I used to think he was just a sociopath. And he said, no, that's something that people who have it's a personality disorder, who have character flaws or something absurd. I can actually probably play the clip from Murder in Mansfield. But he said that's somebody who has character flaws. I believe was almost verbatim what he said. Which I thought was very ironic, by the way. Very, very ironic. Since it is a major, I think either character disorders or character flaws. But yes, he does not, to answer your question, he does not believe he's a psychopath. And he believes and I believe deep down inside, which is the hardest thing for me for me to reconcile, is that he believes he was justified in doing what he did. I think deep down inside, he believes that he was justified in doing what he did to my mother, because he was wronged by her asking for a divorce. No matter that he was engaged to another woman, no matter that he was planning on starting a new life. When she said, I'm divorcing you, that was the red line for him. Oh, no, that's not happening. You're never leaving me. And it's the control aspect of all of it. I think a lot of people, unfortunately, a lot of people who come to this channel who discover this content have experienced similar things in similar ways. And it breaks my heart, but it's not uncommon. I know you guys feel when I say that. Do I have a relationship with my dad's family? I've not heard from my Uncle Charles, who was my mother's best friend since COVID, but I had to call him. And before that, I hadn't heard from him for about a decade. So no, I don't. I do talk to my father's sister every once in a while. And that's good. I get a lot of information on her. She shares a lot of stuff about my mom, and it's really great. She doesn't speak to my father either. So we sometimes are able to talk and converse and have conversations. And she answers a lot of questions for me too about the family. So that's great. Pediatric intensive care unit. Got it. I apologize if it's a sensitive subject, but have I ever considered having other children that are now adults who went through what you did? I don't understand what the emoji was. Having hugs or having contact with other children. Yeah. I talk to a lot of people who've been through similar circumstances like myself on a fairly regular basis. And trying to, I do a lot of coaching for people, and I talk to them a lot about what's going on. Again, I'm not a psychologist, but I do coaching, trauma-informed coaching, and life coaching. But we talk a lot about that, and about how they bring that baggage into their adult life and how they can get rid of that. Thank you so much, Doris. I appreciate the comment. And Sherry Hall, thank you. Sherry Falls, thank you so much for joining. Dang it, Landry, you got me crying watching Soft White Underbelly, and now this live. You don't know how much you help people. Well, thank you so much. By the way, I didn't get hardly any sleep last night. I was so nervous about Soft White Underbelly coming out. I was having such anxiety. Well, yeah, I think I slept for maybe 4 hours. It was a touch and go. And is it up? Is it up? What's going on? So funny. You're exceptionally good at ping pong, Gen X to 7th Power. That's a date. When we meet in person, we'll have to do it. As you say, Rhiannon Rose, self-nurturing is so very important. As an advocate, I always have to remind people to do something nice for themselves. Absolutely, because we don't do enough nice things for ourselves. In case you are wondering, he is exactly the same person you see on his channel. Genuinely amazing, real person. Oh, thank you so much, Cat Loves Cat Stills. You're very sweet. Thank you. It'd be too hard to have different personas. I can't do it. I can't do it. Bully sticks smell like weird bacon, Sharita Hall. I kind of agree. Although Sherry Falls sends us biscuits, health biscuits from Blue Buffalo, and she really likes those. They're bacon, egg, and cheese. But she blows through them, so I can't give her too much. One a day from her Auntie Sherry. I answered this question earlier, but I'll talk about it again. Terabyte says, Collier, are you in touch with your father's other child, your half-sibling? I have not seen her since 2016, the end of 2016. Right when I was making my film, she was going to participate, and then she decided at the last minute to not do that, which is, of course, entirely her choice. I also asked her mother to be a part of it as well. But I hear that she's doing well, she's happily married, and she's living her best life, and I'm grateful for that. Ping pong and foosball. And yes, Gen X to the seventh power. Yes, all good psychopaths and abusive people, they never believe it's them. It's always someone else's fault. Sharita Hall says, what I saw when you visited him was that he had totally manipulated the staff and everyone around him. For the most part, yeah, a lot of people have been manipulated by him. I would agree with that. Cathartist sounds like a typical sociopath. Yeah, sociopath, psychopath. Brooklyn Janet, thank you so much for the super sticker. That is so kind of you. Thank you so much for the super sticker, super chat. When I worry about something, I say the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen to that. I say that a lot myself too. Absolutely. It's a staple of 12-step meetings. Shay says, wow, the scoop. Hi, the scoop. Happy to have you on. My father was your doctor? That's insane. Please tell us in the comments. I would love to know. Karen Michael, I'm brand new to your story. I was just reading an Esquire article about it. Your mother was beautiful. Happy heavenly birthday to her. Well, thank you so much. Yes, today is her birthday. We believe we will follow because you are good. Thank you so much, Sharita Hall. I appreciate that. Yes, sign up for the email list. Yeah, we have an email list. We've just started working on it, getting some material out, some content. It is a slow process. When you're doing all of this is supported by me working in other jobs and really trying to create content, which is, I wish I could create more content. It's just, I'm kind of in this content limbo. I want to create more content for you guys, but we've had so many other things going on with the channel and then just life. It's been arduous, but we are making more content. You guys have seen there's been a lot more content those last week. So there'll be more and more content coming out. And the more subscribers, the more likes, the more you guys share this content, the more I'll make and the more I'll create. I do have a few videos that I'm going to be talking about. One of them is dating and trauma. Another one is what it's like to grow up in, what it's like to be adopted, what it's like to be in foster care, and also picking up the pieces from your family after traumatic situations, and a ton of other ones. I could probably actually read the list of the ones I have. You guys can tell me if you think they sound good, if you'd like to see them as videos on the channel. I think they're pretty good, but I might be a little biased. I may be a little biased. I will read a couple of these. So this is also going to be part of our mailing list that is going on with our resilience reimagined turning your pain into purpose. I'll try that again. Resilience Reimagined, Turning Your Pain into Purpose course that I'm offering in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be starting, but it's part of our email list as well. But we're going to be discussing things like dealing and healing with a family destroyed by violence, what it's like to be adopted, the truth about foster care, hint, it's a nightmare, dating someone who has been through hell and back, why I quit drinking alcohol, and sobriety and health tips, how exercise helps me regulate my emotions and my emotional well-being and curbing PTSD. And another topic is what it's like when you're in a relationship or you're in a scenario and you always are waiting for the other shoe to drop. The anxious attachment, uneasiness, and abandonment issues. We're going to discuss that as well in a very I'm not a psychologist, but in a non-psychologist way, but from my own personal experience. Also, what it's like to have a father pending parole, and how your past is erased by trauma and tragedy and picking up the pieces when you have no clue what they are. So those are a few of the topics that we have on the slate for video content for this channel and for additional content for my course that I'll be offering and going out on our mailing list as well. So there's a lot. There's a lot coming in the next several weeks. Well, I'm glad you need all that. I will be delivering all that. The Scoop says, Collier, Landry, sadly, I did end up many years later having to have open heart surgery due to bacterial endocarditis as a result of mitral valve prolapse. I'm so sorry, but let me get back to your other statement. You said my father was your doctor. Yes, he was my doctor next to the old people's hospital. My diagnosis of my mitral valve prolapse by him likely saved my life. Yeah, that's the sort of thing too, is that my father, despite being such a monster, was an excellent physician. Cannot take that away from him. He was an excellent physician. He delivered excellent advice and service to his patients. And he really cared about being a doctor. And I don't know if that's because of the fact that he was looked up. He was almost godlike to his patients. He's a healer. That seems to work for people that are in those positions in professional capacities of the healer, the provider, lawyers, corporate CEOs, doctors, etc. But I'm glad that he did that. I'm glad that he had a positive mark on the world for sure. I mean, he had me, I had my sister. He's had some positive marks, but yes. Sharita Hall, have you written a book yet? No, that is in the process. In fact, I'm going to probably be starting a Kickstarter or GoFundMe to raise money to make the book. I want to have it done by next spring is our goal. And we're working on that as well. Here, there's just so much happening. Happy birthday in heaven, Noreen. Yes. Happy birthday to my mother. I will not say how old she would have been. I always think your mama reminds me of Carolyn Kennedy. Oh, Carolyn Bessette. Yeah, no, absolutely. Look like her a lot too. Marie Hathaway says, all those topics sound great. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And yes, there are some videos already on this channel that you guys can check out under my story. What became of Sherry and the child she was pregnant with? So my sister is now, she was born 12 days before my father was arrested. She is now a thriving adult. I believe she's happily married and she's living her best life. And that's honestly all I care about. Is if she's happy and healthy and leading her best life, that's amazing, because that's what it's all about. Much like myself. We want to end up flipping it on its head and dealing with it. I think about her a lot though. When I talk about this, I hope people don't berate her. I've made the film, I've made content. I hope they don't badger her like they do other people sometimes. I hope that she's leading a very positive life and does not have people coming after her. As far as Sherry, she got remarried a few times and she is married to a construction magnate in Ohio. They live in the central Ohio, Columbus area. And she's very happily married to a gentleman who's, I think, like maybe 20 some years older, 30 years older than her. I'm not sure. But she's happily married and very much in love. So anyone that can get out of this unscathed, more power to you. Let's see here. Collier Landry, I am the one who always comments as your sort of former neighbor. Oh, that's good to know, the scoop. Excuse the morbid question, but did your mom write a will, or was there a document stating where her preferences were if you or something happened to either of them? Yeah, I think she had a will. I'm not exactly sure, but it didn't matter. The probate court came in and there was 5 attorneys or 4 attorneys on, and they kind of just all hands in the pie. You know, my father didn't really start making money until the last couple of years of his freedom. So, there was a lot of people that thought it was a crazy amount of money. It was not. But the lawyers did their best to gobble up the majority of that. I got some, and then I sued them, and and they got the rest of it. So there you have it. Oh, you met my mother too. That's so wonderful. Oh, wow. The scoop. Wow. We are 53.1K. Oh, thank you so much, guys. That's amazing. And Sherry Falls, thank you so much for the super sticker. And little Professor Mary, Professor Marisol. We have some new merchandise too in the store, by the way. We have a live from all of us. Oh, okay. Let me see. I don't know where this goes. Trying to figure out how to save this. To Sherry Falls sent me a wonderful little video she made on the Facebook, and I think I can share it right now. All right. Let's present. Where did I put it, though? Oh, where did I put it? That's very, very sweet. Oh, thank you so much. We'll play that again. Thank you so much, Sherry Falls, for sharing that. It's very kind of you. I don't know if there was any music in it or not, but it looks very pretty. And that went on our Facebook group as well. So thank you for creating that. I really appreciate it. Sherry Falls has been doing a wonderful job with the Facebook group, and really just making it grow. We're at 143, 141 members of the group. I have 18,000 on my own personal Facebook. So it'd be great if everybody comes over there and let's have our Facebook group going on. And there is we gotta correct the spelling on resilience, but that's all good. The scoop says, thank you so much for signing up. Marie Hathaway, I appreciate you signing up for the mailing list. The scoop says, I did a lot of charity drives and your mother was a giver. The last I saw her was the Thanksgiving, the time before her passing. You came to the door with her when she answered. I was there to pick up a donation. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that memory. That's really nice. Yeah, my mother was a giver. That's what made her, and I learned that from her. And that's what made her such a wonderful person, is how she always thought of others over herself. It's probably why she stuck in the marriage with my father for so long. Thank you so much, Rhiannon Rose, for signing up for the email list as well. I greatly appreciate it. Laura Lee Smith, thank you so much. What a wonderful channel you have. I remember your trial. So much love to you. Thank you, Laura Lee Smith. I appreciate you reaching out and saying that. It makes me feel good. Everyone. Yes, hit that like button, please. How old were you when you first visited your father in prison? That's a great question, Karen Michael or Karan Michael. So I was... I think I might have been still 12. I think I saw him in October of 1990. So he was, tried and convicted in June of 1990. So he was, incarcerated, obviously. And the first prison that he was at was not Lebanon Correctional Institution. It was... Damn, it starts with a W, I think. Anyways, he was Warren Correctional Institution, but it was not in Warren, Ohio. That's why I'm getting confused. It was actually outside Cincinnati, which Warren might be outside Cincinnati too, but Warren Correctional Institution was not in Warren, Ohio. He was at Warren Correctional Institution. I saw him first with my caseworker from Children's Services. And then the next time I saw him, I went with my adoptive father, George Ziegler, who came with me. And that was the first time the two of them met. Actually, no, I'm sorry. It wasn't the first time the two of them met. They had met before because George had a son in my school and he had met my father. My father was not around very much. But he, we all sat down and it was the thing. But George was very protective of me, as I discussed in Soft White Underbelly. We would read the letters from my father from prison and he would kind of explain to me, this is what manipulation is. This is this. You don't understand a lot of that when you're a kid. You only really understand this when you become an adult and you start to read them back. That's why I read the letters from my father from prison on this channel for you guys and on this podcast. So you guys can see and hear this and know and recognize those patterns in your own life. That's the biggest key, is to be able to take away from my personal experience and say, hey, look, I hear what you're talking about. This all sounds so familiar to me. This really rings a bell, and now I know how to approach it. My friend Ardith, my dear friend Ardith, who I grew up with, just watched Soft White Underbelly and says, my favorite project since you made the film. It's very sweet of her. Yes, I did get to meet her way back then. Yes, there is a Facebook group, Sharita Hall. You can join it. All right. Yes, I did have the cutest big smile with braces. Yes, I did. When am I going to go eat some dulce de leche? Says Yanina Cueva. I'm on a diet. I'm not eating any dulce de leche. Although I saw that at Whole Foods, they have dulce de leche and tiramisu Fridays where it's like $10 for a pan of it, or $12. I would never get that anyways, but it was pretty funny. I saw that last night and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Dulce de leche. Do I think Charlie Adelson would be able to write to the Markel Boys? I think he can write to whoever he wants to. Claudia Harrigan. Was my father, Laura Lou asks, was my father upset with me for testifying against him? Did he ever try to change my impression of the situation? That says, Collier speaks Spanish. No hablo español bueno, pero para los borrachos me enseña solo las palabras malas. My Spanish used to be so much better. I've been doing my Babbel in the morning, though. They were a show sponsor earlier. So to answer your question, was my father upset with me for testifying against him, and did he ever try to change your impression of the situation? Yes and yes. He and in many of the letters that I've read on the show, and many that I will continue to read, yes, he was very upset with me for testifying. He, as a matter of fact, you know what? Let me play something here, actually. Let me see. I'm going to remove something here. So this is an episode that I did a long time ago. I'm reposting this episode up. This is called Lies Caught on Tape. My father did a radio interview with these guys.
Let me ask you this: how long were you and Noreen married?
Almost 20 years.
20 years. Any children?
Yes, one natural child, Collier. He's 16 right now.
Oh, I was 16. See, I'm smart.
How does he feel about all this? I mean, this is...
Well, he's very distraught. He was manipulated by David Messmore of the Mansfield Police Department and a few other people.
So let's just get a couple of things straight. So anyways, that is an excerpt from this radio interview that he did back in 1994. And Lies Caught on Tape is going to come out, the new version, later today. And then I have a second tape and third tape that I discovered too that will also play. That was on the channel. It's in the members section of the channel, but I'm going to repost the video and redo the intro. That was where my podcast was called Moving Past Murder. Now it's called The Collier Landry Show because I kept changing the name, and it's like, let's just make it my name. But yeah, he tried to tell me that I didn't hear the whole crux of his argument in his paroles or in his appeals and everything like that is that that the police told me what happened. I didn't tell them what happened. And that's how I know 100%, even through all of his gaslighting and his nonsense and his bullshit, that what I knew to be true and what I was saying to the police, what I was testifying about was the truth because it's what I told them, not what they told me. I'm the one that reached out to police. Police didn't come calling to question me. So when I told them what happened, those were my words. They didn't invent this whole, I heard two loud thuds in the middle of the night and footsteps coming down the hallway and all these things. I'm the one that told them that. So for me, I'm very grateful for that because I heard what happened. I don't question it because I think I would. And I think for a long time I did question it, even to myself. I was talking to my Aunt Shelley, who was my mother's best friend, and she said, you used to question that. I said, well, I questioned it because I didn't understand how I could be capable of that. And if the apple, as everybody was trying to paint me as, falls far from the tree, then I would be able to commit such a horrific crime. So I don't understand because I don't feel that way. So the fact that I was trying to reconcile it a lot. I never once doubted that he was guilty. I thought other people may have helped him, and I didn't want him to be guilty. But as you're trying to grow up and process everything, but you can't change that. And I knew it when it happened. So for me, I'm very grateful that I stuck to my guns in that way because I knew what I heard. And even though my father was trying to say, oh, the police planted this evidence in his head, they made this up, the prosecutor made this up, it just wasn't true. Just simply wasn't true. And that to me makes me feel so much better. And yes, what I mean to say is he was unable to manipulate me as well. LATAM. That's funny. Oh, yeah, we have fan mail too. If you guys want to send it to 3019 Ocean Park Boulevard, number 950, Santa Monica, California, 90405. Karan Michael asks, am I happy in my life? I am happy in my life. I genuinely like and love the person that I have become today. Do I wish I made more money? Do I wish this channel was more successful? Do I wish that I had certain accolades in my life? Do I wish I had better relationships? Of course. Of course, I wish that there's so much more that I have. I wish I could own a house. I wish this channel would blow up and we would, and this would be all that I could do with my life. And it would be amazing to do just the podcast and this channel. The reality is that that's not the case, but I am genuinely happy. I love my life. I get to go to the beach almost every day whenever it's sunny. I'll go later today. It's amazing. I lead an amazing life. I feel very fulfilled in what I've been able to do and how I share my story and the people who are impacted by it. As you see today with Soft White Underbelly, the same thing. The impact that I'm able to make and the way that I've been able to flip what happened to me on its head and use it for good, for a force of good, is what makes me a happy person. And I genuinely like the person that I've become in spite of all of those circumstances. And they've made me who I am today. And I genuinely love the person that I am. So I'm in a good place. But thank you for asking. I appreciate that. But it's the truth. I am happy. And I love my life. Shay says, you have a strong resolve. Collier, don't let your father make you feel guilty for telling the truth. Telling your truth, your mom is very proud of you. Well, thank you so much. Collier's about to sing some Skilo. That's hilarious. Skilo or CeeLo? Collier, the fact that you did all the investigation on your own and fought for the truth as a child shows the police didn't tell you a dang thing. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously the police had a massive hand in doing all their investigations too. But working hand in hand with Dave Messmore, it was like me and Dave against the world, and we were able to obviously get justice for my mother, and that's incredible. And not a lot of people have ever been able to have that happen in their lives. So it's really great. And yes, Erod, I didn't resolve to be a victim. Thank you for saying I'm an amazing person. I like to think so. That's the thing I want to. That's how often. That's the person I want to be known for, is somebody who didn't resolve to be a person, to resolve to be a victim. Just try to make a better impact and be an amazing person. And I'm grateful for that. I don't jam on them enough. That's for sure, Rhiannon and Rose. I don't jam on those guitars enough. That's for sure. Anyways, Mover Nation, we are past the hour. We've gotten through another one. I got to get the other episode out for you guys. I appreciate all of you being here. Thank you so much to everyone who supported me today watching Soft White Underbelly on the channel. If you haven't seen it, the link is in the description of today's episode. Check it out. Mark, Laida, Soft White Underbelly. They do an amazing job. I'm so grateful to be on that show and share my story. And to all of you, as I always talk about these things, as we do these lives, as I talk about all my content, please remember, take all these positive lessons and use them for good in your life, and be kind to one another above all things. I love and appreciate the Mover Nation community we've cultivated right here. Also, remember, if you're a Patreon member or a YouTube channel member, tomorrow we have our live meet and greet at 3 p.m. Eastern time. It is on both of those platforms where you can have links to the Google Meet so we can all hang out. I look forward to it. Mover Nation, we get through another one. Thank you all so much for being here. Again, your support means the world to me. And on that note, here's the outro. Mover Nation, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to all my channel members and Patreon supporters. And for more exclusive content, behind the scenes videos, monthly VIP meet and greets, and watch parties, please consider supporting me on Patreon or by becoming a YouTube channel member. If you like this video, check out this one right here or this one right here. And don't forget to like and subscribe because it helps with the algorithm. On that note, I'm Collier Landry. I'll see you on the next one. Good girl, Marisol. Good girl.